Hello and welcome. You're watching the Tov Jewish News channel. My name is Michael Wilensky, and today I have the honor of welcoming in our studio today lawyer Ilan Tzion, who is the initiator of the security barrier in Judea and Samaria, and also Ilan was one of the first people who was talking about the possibility of a new Holocaust in Israel, which we also happened on the 7th of October. So Ilan, welcome to our studio.
Hello.
Ilan, I want to start with what I just mentioned. You were the canary in the coal mine. You were one of the people who were talking ages ago that the Holocaust will repeat itself, that the Muslims who live around Israel are not, they're not at peace with us, and that they can still attack us even today in 2024, 2023. How did you foresee that? What made you understand that that is a viable possibility?
Well, I think it's very simple to see that. We just didn't want to see that. The Muslims cannot accept other religions, they cannot accept Judaism, and they want to take over Israel. And the only possibility of Jews to survive here is under the idea of a majority, a real majority of Jews. Now, the Jewish people in Israel do not really appreciate that point, and especially through the Israeli Supreme Court, all the time they try to let Muslims and non-Jews enter Israel, and thus changing the balance between the majority of Jews and non-Jews. And because of that, I fought all the time in the Supreme Court and also in the media to try to explain the importance of the majority of Jews. Well, people really do not want to see that. Sometimes it's very difficult to acknowledge such a grave thing, circumstances. And well, it means that you have to do something. You cannot let Muslims or non-Jews coming here, infiltrators. You cannot do that. Well, that doesn't really seem so progressive. Well, so this is why I think this problem was overlooked, and now we are seeing that it's happening, and it will take place more and more if we do not acknowledge and fight it. Yeah.
So we cannot simply come to the conclusion that a Jewish majority in Israel is important without having a deeper change in our conscience, in our ideology, right, in our values. What do you think the change should be, and did it happen after the 7th of October? Did we reach the point of understanding, or are we still not there?
I think it's a great question. I think that, of course, we didn't change anything. We are still divided into these two tribes fighting between each other. From one side are the progressive people, I mean the left, like we call the left. From the other side is the right tribe, and this is like the people who support Netanyahu, and they fight between those two tribes, but they don't do anything regarding the real problem of the majority of Jews in Israel. And we could have seen just now that the Israeli Supreme Court took over the democracy, abolished a law, a fundamental law, which is really like a coup against democracy. And now the government lost all its power. I mean, the people lost all its power. They can't really change it anymore. I mean, we lost control over our borders now.
Please explain in a couple of words the significance of what has happened in Israel yesterday for those who do not know.
Well, what happened is that the Israeli Supreme Court decided to abolish a law which is really a fundamental law. It's like a constitution. The Supreme Court says or decided that it has the power to cancel constitution. It's above the constitution. In that way, the Supreme Court made itself like the sovereign authority, really. And because of that, now we are just governed by the Supreme Court. Now we are the people, when we vote, we cannot change anything anymore. We have to remember that this court is tried all the time to let Muslims and non-Jews enter, because we have to remember that the DNA of the Supreme Court was decided by a person called Aaron Barak. He's like an anti-Zionist revolutionary who took over the Supreme Court, changed its DNA. The DNA of the Supreme Court is is like it's really anti-Zionist, and it's really support a notion called it's a state for all its citizens. State of all its citizens means that
cosmopolitan state.
Yeah, we are. It's not a Jewish state anymore. This is like a state for all the people. I mean, even in immigration wise, it's going to let in the future, and this is what it's doing now, to let non-Jews and Muslims enter Israel. This is really unbelievably dangerous. Now, because of the very weak government and prime minister we have, that all the time just got along with that, now we are in a very dangerous situation because we are losing the possibility to even control the majority. I mean, of our Jews. I mean, in our country. So the chances of Holocaust are much bigger now, and also in accordance with this decision. Yeah.
So I want to also tackle what's happening in Israel from another direction, from another angle. Of course, what's affecting Israel is mostly internal affairs, right? But also we have a lot of pressure from the West, from the European Union, and from especially Joe Biden and the Democratic Party and the current government in America. To what extent does America really rule Israel? Can we call it the 51st state? And how does American influence hurt us?
Well, first of all, I don't buy at all this idea of American pressure. I think that this is a notion which is led by Netanyahu and our leaders to let themselves do nothing. Okay, so all the time, this is really something very normal. I mean, in Israel politics, to just put the blame on the United States and say, well, they are pressing us. Well, it's not true. The problem is the weakness of the prime minister and the other partners. So if you're so weak, if you do not really do anything, really don't want to fight against the Gaza, you want all the time to negotiate with everybody. All the time you want to release terrorists for the hostages and things like that. So you're radiating weakness, and this weakness, of course, well, there is a vacuum. So if you have a vacuum, so the other forces enter it. So the United States will try telling you this way or that way. Well, it's not really a pressure. This is something that we invite, okay, to pressure us. So this is why I don't buy this notion.
So you're saying that America is only ruling us, only affecting us because we ourselves are acting in a weak way, right?
Yeah, and I think that the United States really wanted us to exterminate Hamas. And but the problem is that we didn't want to pay the price for that. We didn't want to do that. In order to exterminate Hamas, you should have conquered. It's very simple. There's only one way. So because that is simple, because you have only one way. When you have only one solution, this is the simplest situation, right? Even though the situation is costly, but still you need to conquer the Gaza Strip. It's very simple. In order to conquer it, you need to conquer the area called the Philadelphia Axis. Okay, this is the part of the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt, and in that way to besiege the Gaza Strip. So the Israeli government didn't want to do that. It only wants to pressure Hamas in order them to negotiate with us that we exchange terrorists for hostages. This is the head of Netanyahu. Okay, we have to understand that. So the problem is not the United States.
So just to clarify, you're saying that the Israeli government is not interested in destroying Hamas?
No, it's not. I'm saying it's not interested in paying the price for destroying Hamas. It's not the same thing. Okay, so if you know that the only way to destroy Hamas, you cannot really destroy Hamas. It's very simple because Gaza is Hamas. So, for example, if you, let's say, kill, 50,000 Hamas soldiers, okay, and there is no any Hamas soldiers anymore, and you take all the weaponry and take it out, okay, and you leave the Gaza Strip, when you return in 3 years, you find again Hamas. So how is it possible? because Hamas is the Gaza people, Gaza inhabitants. So the only way to exterminate the idea of Hamas and do not have any missiles again from the Gaza Strip is to conquer the area. It's so simple. And you have to stay there and control. It's not about killing people. We have to understand. Killing the Palestinians doesn't affect them. It doesn't do anything. The only way is to control them and to take their land. And now, it's not because you want to conquer their land. It's because they want to conquer you and kill you. So you have to control them in their land. This is the only solution. Well, it's not so nice. You don't have maybe you don't have this horizon of peace, maybe. But of course you don't have any horizon for peace, because there will be no peace with Muslims. And the Muslims will not have any peace, not only with the Jews, but with the Christians, with the Buddhists, and everybody, even in Antarctica. Because it's very simple. They want to take all over the world. It's very simple. So the only way to survive here is to conquer their area, control them, and not kill them. It's not about killing. It's about controlling. And what I'm speaking now, it's in every place when you have Palestinians. We call it Palestinians. They just want one thing. They want to take over Israel. They want to exterminate the Jews. They want to build their country in Tel Aviv.
Ilan, I want to play a little back and forth with you, right? So you said that America does not pressure Israel, and our behavior.
I'm not saying they're not pressure at all. But I'm speaking about it's not a real pressure. This is not the reason or the excuse, the excuse for what we are doing. This is not the real excuse.
Okay. Well, it still doesn't affect my question.
Yeah.
So, but it's well known that Israel, for example, lacks very much in weaponry, in ammunition, and our army cannot perform on the battlefield by itself, right? And we need the United States for ammunition to supply us tank shells, to supply us M4s, M16s, and weaponry. So whenever you are so in need of weapons from another country, whenever you are in such a state of dependence from another country, it can dictate you its own interests. Don't you think?
I don't buy that, and I tell you, I don't buy it at all. We have to. I was a child in 1973 when the Egyptians and the Syrians attacked us. Now, and at that time, we fought against two armies, countries, state armies. Now we are fighting against a terrorist organization which had some pickup trucks, okay, some rifles, some missiles, okay. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that a state which is, according to every publication, is one of the strongest in the world, cannot deal with a terrorist organization. The problem is not the army. The problem is the leadership. The leadership is so weak, so coward. Okay, it's all the time it tries to find excuses to the lack of operation. So now they are leaking, of course, that they don't have enough shells. Of course, first of all, it's unbelievable. We have big factories for ammunition. We are selling ammunition all over the world. We just gave the ammunition for Azerbaijan to attack Armenia. Okay, I remind everybody. Okay, so of course it's nonsense. And if we didn't have a factory to make the shells in order to fight this Gaza Strip or this Hezbollah, yes. So this is one of the biggest problems. It's unbelievable that our leadership led us to a situation that we don't have a factory to making the shells. Now look, the Gaza people, Hamas, which do not have anything, right? They need to bring everything through tunnels, and yes, they have enough shells to attack us all the time. Now, why is that? This is because we are not conquering them. We are not really fighting. We are all the time maneuvering. Netanyahu even called it maneuvering. Maneuver. It's not a war. It's a war. It's not really a war. It's a maneuver. What's a maneuver? Maneuver is the word that shows that Israel do not have any commitment to conquer and exterminate Hamas. This is the truth. So I cannot really understand how everybody do not understand this simple thing. And the main, and I tell you why, because the outcome, what I'm saying is that Mr. Netanyahu should resign on the 8th of October. And not because of his responsibility for the 7th of October, and he's really, really responsible, because he lacks the ability to fight anything. He's a weak person, a coward person. He's the last person that should rule Israel in this situation. He brings us now every minute to a very grim situation. Now let me give you an example. Just like 2 days ago, Israel decided to accept this, to show up in the hearing in the International Court in The Hague. Now this is a kind of a anti-Semitic organization. All the time we insisted upon not giving it any sovereignty over Israel. Now Netanyahu just changed that. Now we're accepting the idea that this anti-Semitic institutions are going to rule about our behavior in Gaza. This is just an example. What's happening with the Supreme Court is Netanyahu's fault, because Netanyahu had an agreement with them that is not going to intervene with what the Supreme Court is doing. He's letting them all the time taking over and just robbing democracy. So everybody are sleeping, especially in the right side. Now the left side in Israel always have to be on the left side of the right. So if the right is going to the left like Netanyahu is taking it, so the left needs to overpass it from the left. So it is not doing
even
anything.
more to the left.
Yeah, more to the left, yeah. So both tribes are accepting the most weakest and coward ideas, okay? And this is how we look. And now in this situation we cannot play. We have to understand we are just 7 million people surrounded by hundreds of millions of angry people just to kill us, okay? So we cannot act like that. This is unbelievable irresponsibility. So this is what I think. I'm thinking that we are in a very, very big problem. And if the Israeli people, especially the right tribe, if they do not wake up immediately and just throw Netanyahu from his seat and bring new leaders, which are going to fight and change the basic ideas. So I don't see any chance that we can survive here. Sorry.
Ilan, as always, it has been a great interview with you. Always amazing interviews, always very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for coming to our studio. Thank you also to all of our viewers. We all hope that Israel will wake up and take the right decisions in its future. Thank you all for watching again. Subscribe to us both on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms. Thank you and have a great day.